If you are the family scapegoat, beware of the people who know your pain, but then use the same narcissistical traits when it's your turn to have conflict with them, or when conflict naturally arises. As a family scapegoat, it becomes very difficult to know who to trust in your family cult dynamic, because the one enabler might sit there and listen to your pain and nod and act like they understand you, only to then betray you in the most ways that we're vulnerable with them and express hurt you. The people who aren't the scapegoat in the family, who the narcs don't attack or don't scapegoat or don't, emotionally abuse, you would think that they're safe, that they witness what happens, they validate you in private. But when conflict rises with them, trust that they are going to exhibit the same traits. What's going to hurt the most is not that it's an argument or conflict with them, but it's the betrayal. They've seen you at your lowest. They've seen the effect the main narcissist in the family cult did on the number they did on you. They know what gaslighting manipulation is. They know from all the venting sessions, the little ways that the person gaslighted me and the ways that I was venting to them. And they turn around and do the same thing when the spotlight's on them. You would think because they've seen it, they know it, that they would do better. But when they naturally get anxious, when they have an argument, or when they feel unheard or unseen or whatever, when they feel attacked and their egos, slighted, then their true colors will show. And it will show that they were never they were never on the side of the truth, on the side of being compassionate or empathetic towards somebody. In theory, when you talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, that was messed up, yeah. But when actually in actual conflict, when you're calling them out for something, or when you're having conflict with them, then they do the same thing that the narcissists do. I just experienced someone else in my family who is younger, who I wouldn't think would be part of the narcissistical family cult, just dismiss and invalidate my emotions, my reality, and just basically beg me to submit to her and her reality, and offer no compassion, no mercy, no self-reflection on her part. Someone who saw the abuse happen to me, who saw my pain, who I would break it down, okay, this is manipulation, so that they can look out for it, so that they won't also experience it. Instead, they also use that on you. Beware of these people who know empathy in theory, but not in practice. This is hard as a scapegoat, because it's like, who do you trust with it? The same person who knows empathy, who can rationalize it, can think about it logically, and think about, oh, how this was messed up. But when conflict actually arises, then you see that they can't exhibit that. They don't have the capacity to actually exhibit those healthy behaviors. All of those soft words end up meaning nothing the second that they are inconvenienced, or their ego is slighted, or if they're finally criticized for something. They don't want resolution, they want to win. It's unfortunate, but they were just learning the tactics from the main narcs in the family cult, just so that when it's their turn, they know how to come up on top. And it's triggering for you as a scapegoat, because they knew what hurt you. They knew the manipulation tactics. You expressed it to them. They saw the pain that it caused you, and they still chose to do it to you when it came to them. Your body feels like it's going through the same cycle with each new person in the family cult, the same cycle of, oh, they understand me, okay, they are empathetic towards me. Boom, conflict arises. They show who they truly are and how they would truly respond. And then, boom, now you're here, the scapegoat, grieving again yet another person in the family cult who you thought was better than that. The main lesson as a scapegoat: don't trust people based off comfortable situations with them. Trust them off of conflict. Anyone can be kind when they're not challenged, when they're not forced to step up to the table and be emotionally healthy and regulate themselves emotionally. And if they start showing narcissistical traits in conflict, disengage immediately. I don't care if they label you traumatized, or you just want to leave the conversation and they label you the bad guy for trying to walk away from it. This is your nervous system, your body, your future, and your health on the line. And they have an advantage because you wouldn't think it would come from them after all they've seen and experienced and know. So no, you don't owe them your energy. You don't owe them continued overextending and explaining as they continue to just pretend they don't understand and have you continue to overfunction and over-explain and explain your truth and explain your side, only for them to keep saying, no, this is what happened, this is the truth, and continue to invalidate your reality. With no remorse on how it affects you, with no remorse on how you've been in this cycle, this no-win cycle with narcs your whole life. This leads into the final point, is to detach from the illusion. You think the illusion is just with the narcissist, that they are in a deluded worldscape. And when you, the scapegoat, call them out on the truth, they just reject you and reject the truth because they can't handle it. The scapegoats or the enablers will also live in an illusion as well. And just because they know your pain doesn't mean that they will honor it. This is the illusion that you are also in, that you thinking that they will honor it when they won't. When it comes time to really show who you are in conflict, they'll just use the same tricks. Healing and thriving beyond narcissistical abuse, which is what we do here. By the way, this is Aisha. But it's also about protecting your peace. Protecting your peace from anybody who will weaponize your vulnerability, even if you believe they cared, even if they swore that they cared. The main lesson here as a scapegoat is to pay attention to who people are in conflict. That betrayal on top of the narcissist, on top of the enablers, on top of the codependents, that betrayal of the person in the family cult who you thought understood and knew that it was wrong and would have the capacity to not do that, they'll also do that. So, thank you for listening and hope you enjoy. Bye.